Okay, I think we are live, and by the time it is 7 o'clock, the YouTube video should also be live. So, Jeremy, welcome back.
Here we are again.
Here we are again. And we'll just take the first minute or so to make sure that everything is set up correctly, because we're using all this fancy XSplit, Skype, Google Hangout integration. And,
man, look at your show, man. It's always, you have the highest production value. You're on fire. We got a logo.
yeah, I'm on fire. My head is on fire. Everything is on fire.
Looks awesome.
Actually, I think the show is going live on YouTube right now, the way it seems. And I just want to verify the sound, that we don't have any kind of echoes and double voices in there. And I'll just listen into it for a brief second or two, and then we can start. And
cool.
For everyone who's already here, and there's actually quite a few people, you can ask questions both on the Google Q&A tool, or even more conveniently, right in the comments underneath the YouTube video. And the questions will pop up here, and we already got a couple of questions, and we will answer them during the show. Now my Skype is still uploading. Let me just refresh this real quick. No, my Skype, my YouTube.
While you're doing that, I can give disclaimers that I just woke up. Disclaimer alert.
Okay, it sounds good. I think I just muted my video on YouTube. Sounds good. So if everyone or if anyone would just clarify if something is not going wrong, just put it in the questions in the comments below, and we can get it fixed. So you just woke up.
I just woke up, and Michael's been awake for 3 days now.
No, not quite. Actually, last
night was... We've been working very hard around the studio.
Yes, we have. But last night I actually did sleep for 9 hours. That was, I think, the first time this year.
That's awesome.
It was really good. It was really good.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I'm thinking, oh, that'd be so nice. A 9 hours sleep,
well, like the last time we talked, I wrote you a message and I said, "Oh, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning at your time," and you answered at 6. Oh, I'm still awake. So.
Yeah. I've been doing actually just recently in the last 4 days. My sleep schedule just got crazy. I remember exactly what it was too. I was sitting there sculpting Gonadar, the big plague demon, and I stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, he's a real challenge.
It is a very big challenge, and I know this from editing till late night, and then next morning at 9 the guys are here again. So. Yeah, time is an illusion. Lunchtime WSO, as we say in the Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah, Peter Rodway just wrote, "Was going to say that, mate. You look sleepy." Now and Matsamundi just says all looks good and sounds good. Now with all looks good, obviously he means the both of us, and the sound is our beautiful voices.
Cool, danke.
Now, Jeremy just saw me 15 minutes ago with my full hair, and then we're not afraid of any costs, so I just very quickly shaved my head.
You had your team of stylists do that.
Yeah, my team of stylists, and now my head is on fire, as you can see. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Okay, well let's get this show started. Thank you very much for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. This is one of my favorite shows to do.
Thank you. Now, you were on the air yesterday, actually, with our friends from Spain.
Yeah, I was talking to Ale and Julio. That was a fun podcast because I just recently learned how to use a computer, and I can now actually, with the Google Hangout, I'm getting a little more used to it, and I can actually pipe my Cintiq through it and then show a little bit of artwork, because we did a video on our Facebook, and it went over really well, where it showed me doing a little bit of work in progress.
Yeah, it was. I saw this. I watched the show yesterday, and it was. I mean, as many know, I'm not an artist, and I just watched you just from nothing creating this creature and just shifting her body around and making this. What is it called again? The horse thing, the centaur, and make her into like a two-legged woman and stuff. And that was really cool.
It was neat, man, and of course it's such a good explaining tool. It's kind of half design tool and half PowerPoint, so I can explain things with the cursor as well. It's very powerful.
And we will actually do this later on as well. And maybe we can even get some suggestions. See, I can't even speak anymore. Any suggestions in from our guys who are watching right now of what you should create?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I got the tablet all set up here, and yeah, we'll definitely fire that up in a little bit.
Okay, good. Well, the last time we talked was, what, 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a little while ago now.
On the first BEEBLE BABBLE, and I can tell the people out there that in the meantime we've been in contact quite a bit, both through messages, also through some Skype calls. Just mentioned that our preparation Skype call was as long as last show. It's an hour 40 or something.
True, we became friends. We've been talking quite a bit since then, and a lot has changed on my end since then. I was just a boy back then. I'm a full-grown man.
That's probably why you look so tired.
Yeah, totally. I also haven't slept since then, so.
No kidding. Now, last time we talked a lot about, obviously, about the Kickstarter. You had chosen to delay it a little bit. For reasons that you already mentioned in the last show, the first BEEBLE BABBLE. And now we have a release date for the Kickstarter.
Yeah, April 19th is the new release date. I think it was pretty clear why I extended the pre-campaign for most people, but just if anybody is unclear about that, it was primarily because the campaign really got huge. It got a lot bigger than we had originally intended, and I just needed a manufacturing pipeline and just a great deal of assurances from those people involved with making the product that they could go from making hundreds of products to thousands. So we made that change, and it was the best month I've ever spent in business. It was a lot of fun getting to know some new people, getting in touch with some old people, using my UltraForge pipeline, and then modifying it with a lot of new technology out there.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of revamped your webpage as well. I just pulled it up here. It's creaturecaster.com.
The branding, my overall philosophy, everything grew up. I honestly feel like I've grown up with you, in a weird way.
It's kind of interesting. I really like your original page, but this one is even nicer. You kind of got colors in there as well. You went a little way away from the black that you had before.
I like that simple black, and I did this because I wanted a little splash of color in there. And you'll actually notice if you look over to my background image and you see the spider demon's mouth, that's different because I changed it on the website. I showed a paint over where I changed the mouth. So I actually changed it on the website. Not a lot of people have noticed, but I snuck it in there. I did the new one.
Oh, this is not the new one yet. You got the one video up on your Facebook page, and actually I can only recommend all of you to head over to CreatureCaster on Facebook. It's facebook.com/CreatureCaster. And you got a couple of videos up here, as you just mentioned, especially about how you changed the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You got some updates on the Kickstarter, and I think they're all very, very exciting. So anyone who's watching, definitely go and like it and tell your friends about it because this is going to be pretty awesome.
Well, thanks for saying that. And yeah, the Facebook is definitely the place to be if you want to get involved in that conversation. Like, people that are on our Facebook know me as the kind of person who we iterate our models constantly. We're constantly applying, feedback. But my apologies to anybody who uses the forums primarily, because I certainly check them. I certainly answer questions there. It's just we do most of our conversations on the Facebook because it just immediately comes right into your life. It just attacks your life, which is what Facebook does.
Yeah. You tell me about it. No, it's but the one thing I like about your Facebook page and generally about your approach is that I think you call yourself always, I'm just the humble artist. You're the art director.
You're the art director.
Yeah, that's what you tell all the fans. And what I really liked is there were people that were asking about the position of the mouth of the Spider Queen, and you just changed it. So you showed people exactly, well, this is what the original was, this is how I wanted to change it. You changed the whole expression, you changed the eyes, the mouth, and so on. And it's kind of nice to actually see somebody kind of taking up all these random comments on a Facebook page, and we all know there can be many of them, but actually taking them and turning them into something new?
Well, like I appreciate you saying that, and that's really been the story. My story, in this business is, I want to be the guy that people wonder why I don't make zany, risky, bizarre models, because they
Right.
look at my artwork and it usually is pretty zany and bizarre. It's because I'm applying everybody's ideas. It's because I'm taking the greater good. I always look at the greater good. And the reason why the mouth got changed, but say something like the horns didn't get changed, because there's been a couple people that have said some stuff about, or her boob size, for example. That's always controversial. So there becomes a tipping point. If I hear, a dozen people say something, then I know the collective intelligence of our buyers is really great, and I
Right.
have to respect it, and then I have to tip. But you can see from the new renders, she is so balanced. Like,
Yeah.
she's really the picture of a model that's just been tweaked and tweaked and tweaked to ad nauseum almost.
It's kind of funny because she was not my favorite miniature to start, I have to say, and I couldn't really say why. I liked her a lot, but she wasn't my favorite. The Vulture Demon was my favorite up to this point, but honestly, right now she has absolutely turned into my favorite miniature. It's
Well, I'm glad you said that. She has grown up. Her face has changed. You'll notice that her base rock is about 30% smaller.
Yep.
Her sword is about 20% bigger. She actually has a twist in her hips now. She was always doing this pelvic kind of thrust forward, where I wanted her legs to look like she was moving her forward, as opposed to lurching, because she has such great poise. But this little twist from the front view is very sexy. And it's just that, I don't know, like, she's also very subtle. A lot of her motions, her neck, her hands, her shoulders, everything is posed, but everything's subtle.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the sword that has a history to it.
Well, the sword actually, with the Kickstarter, we have exclusive parts. So what that means for anybody just first hearing about this is, in our campaign, you pledge on the model you want, but then you also get optional upgrade parts included in your kit for free. That's if we hit stretch goals. Those are going to be stretch goals, and hopefully everything goes good and you get those parts. This sword here is her spider venomous, wanted it to feel like fangs, like it was poisonous, and like every part of the sword could penetrate. You'll notice that her spikes are meant to penetrate, and same with her sword.
Yeah.
It also, everything on her is very erect. Her horns, the spikes, everything points up and out. So this is her original sword, but she has another sword that I began designing 2 years ago, which was the tongue sword, which actually has a full mouth, a full tongue, and I revealed that on the Facebook as well a little while back as part of a teaser to lead up to the Kickstarter.
And I would definitely recommend watching this. I love the story about how you think that the sword maybe was a demon or turned into a sword, something like that. I mean, just the kind of background story, the kind of fluff that people love. It's awesome.
It's for me, it's the right level of fluff, because I have to answer questions here at home. I have to ask myself, I had to ask myself when I was first designing these demons, are they naked? Do they have a demon working on a forge all day, pounding out demon metal to make a demon sword? Or I'm trying to figure out, how are we going to make weapons on these? What makes sense to me? So I actually kind of imagine these swords as demons. These are somehow spirits, either spirits of demons locked inside of an organic vessel, which has become calcified and hardened, maybe crystallized to become a sharp cutting blade, or is it an actual demon that withers and withers and withers, and over millennia just becomes shriveled into like a pile of bone, which then reforms into a sword. But either way, the sword is intelligent, because I remember this from Dungeons and Dragons, when I was a kid, thinking you would have a conversation with your evil sword, and it'd be like, no, we should go in and attack that village. And I'd be like, no, Soren. I'm a paladin. This is not good for me.
I'm a paladin with a demon sword. No, that would be like, what's it, chaotic evil or something?
Exactly. It's going to ruin my alignment bonuses.
Yeah, there you go.
So I love that idea of the intelligent sword, which is also why I wanted her sword to be interacting with her, because I imagined it as maybe a lover, or maybe as like a dominant form in her life, or maybe she's the dominant one and it's like her subject. So these are just some of the weird things that go through my weird mind when I'm sculpting these weird models.
and you mentioned that a lot of your ideas are even weirder, or even farther out there, if you want.
Oh,
and you're kind of playing it a little safe. I wouldn't really, looking at those miniatures, I wouldn't really call it playing it safe. I think you're kind of leaning towards established characters, if you want. But it's not standard. I haven't really seen anything like this before.
Well, I also agree. I think I'm putting too blunt a point on it. Like, I think these are archetypes. They are very solid, standard archetypes. I'm doing the classics, if you will. Like, if I was a jazz musician, these would be the standards that you want to master before you do your improv.
Right.
So I do get a little bit of criticism sometimes that I am doing a lot of Ultraforge themed miniatures. But people have to realize, as an artist, this is very important for me to right some of the wrongs I did in terms of artistic choices. I can just sculpt better now, and it's very difficult when you're an artist to know you can do better. So here I am doing my classics, and then I'm going to get to that wild stuff.
And you just mentioned the and if people haven't really watched the first BEEBLE BABBLE and our little discussion there, now you were the owner of Ultraforge. I'm always trying not to say Demon Forge, and I just succeeded.
Yeah, we were one of the original forges.
One of the forges, yes. And now you sold that company, if I'm correct.
I did, yeah. So that company's still going. You can still buy Ultraforge miniatures. I don't make any money when you buy them, but people still are great about letting me know that they have them, collect them. I'm very flattered as an artist to know that people still support that company.
Yeah, and you took that money and went back to school to learn to be a better sculptor.
I did two things. I went to. We had a crisis here at home. We needed some money for the place. Some stuff was broke, so we had to fix that. And then, but that was really easy. And then I just went back to school, and that's where I focused most of the investment. And that's where I actually spent the next year in my life.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm getting emails here. That's not good. Okay. Now you said you came back. You went to school, especially for digital sculpting.
Yeah, the school is very special in the sense that the school has a traditional sculpting program. In fact, one of the guys teaching me some traditional work there was a guy by the name of Gideon. He does a lot of local movie props, a lot of prosthetics, does some great zombie makeup. So we did a lot of sculpting together. And then we did digital sculpting, and I was able to blend these two worlds. And as far as I'm told, that's very rare to have happen in a technology school.
And I mean, you can tell. I mean, I know your Ultraforge models, especially. I think everybody knows the Tree Woman. I think she's pretty famous around the miniature scene.
Yeah,
and I think the quality back then even was astonishing. But if we look at your sculpts right now, it's a step further. It's just a step beyond, and not just from the techniques you've acquired, but also from the balancing of everything, like how everything kind of sits really well. It's very natural the way it shows up.
Well, balance is so important to me, and one of the real benefits from using the computer is I can turn the model, turn it. I don't have to worry about my arm or my hand controlling how I see it. I can now I do rotations, I do turnaround videos, and I'll just sit there with the coffee and watch 10 different turnarounds with 10 different poses. And then as an art director, like pretending I'm the art director, I can pick the one that looks best from all angles. And
it's probably easier to position stuff as well, right? You can just make, okay, how would it look if the wings were higher or lower or something like that?
The posing is super powerful. By the way, all of these things are done when you physically sculpt, but it's like an animator using, like, if you're an animator and you're animating a monster that has hair on it, 90% of the time you have to animate it without the hair because it's just too difficult to render that.
Yeah.
When people physically sculpt, they physically pose an armature. They're not posing the model. They're actually posing the armature. And then they're sculpting the model. But after they sculpt the model, they're settling with whatever happened. They're not moving the pose after that. I certainly didn't. And I've sculpted probably over 100 models now.
Wow.
So a real kind of laziness creeps in with physical sculpting. Now, I'm not calling physical sculptors lazy, but I'm just saying you have to settle.
Yeah.
Your clay is hardened. You have to, at some point, settle. With the digital sculpting, I'm not that I'm endorsing it. It's just great in the sense that this is never done. This model is the only, the only day it's done is the day I send it to the printers.
Yeah, and I think what's really important about talking about digital and kind of classic sculptors is that you have to know anatomy anyways. If you can't do anatomy, you will fail on either of these tools. And like Marty always says that when he looks at miniatures that are digitally sculpted, sometimes they're just wrong. Right?
Yeah.
And just because they're digital, that doesn't make them better. You have to be a good sculptor, and you have to understand the tools in order to do it. As I always say, a fool with the tool is still a fool, and I think this really goes true for the miniature scene as well.
Well, I absolutely, wholeheartedly agree.
And you didn't go to school for nothing, right?
Well, I hope not. It was expensive.
So if the tool does it for you, just talk into a microphone and say, I want to create a spider demon, and it just pops up.
And there might have even been, other ways to do it. I could have maybe, the software does exist. Digital Tutors Online, the website, is really great.
Yeah.
But I did at this school meet Joe, one of the sculptors for CreatureCaster. I did do tons of 3D printing because upstairs was a company called Proto Demon, and Proto Demon is known the world over for having done some of the highest, finest resolution prints in the time that they were open. That company has since folded. The space that they were in got rented out to another company, and they were awesome. I printed out tons of models with them. Those are great guys, and learned a lot about how to make these models. And they liked Ultraforge. They were fans of the company, and they used to look at my physical stuff, and I would just lose my mind over their digital stuff.
Well, before we talk a little more about the Kickstarter itself, I want to answer one of the first questions we received from Mazdamundi85. And again, for everyone, you can leave your questions in the comments underneath the YouTube video. They will pop up here, and we can read them and answer them. And that's probably a question you've gotten not just once, not just twice, maybe 10, 20, 100 times. And it is, will the zombie dragon make it into the Kickstarter? And then he goes on, also, will any additional heads or weapons be in place as unlocks? Because I think you're going to need some.
Well, that's an excellent point, and fair warning, because he's absolutely right. If it does make it into the Kickstarter, it's not just the dragon, but it's also his Kickstarter exclusive parts, because I really want to reward people for being there for the Kickstarter. Zombie Dragon, I can tell you right now, I had a conversation with Vincent, amazing sculptor, last week. I had a new idea for a plague demon I could add to the campaign. It's a really, really cool silhouette that hasn't been done before. It was so exciting that I stopped him working on the zombie dragon, reasserted him on the new plague demon, and then when he's done that, he's able to go back to the zombie dragon. Now, a lot of people are saying, it doesn't matter. You can just go ahead and put it on the campaign. He's worked to a certain point. You can make some artwork. He's good to go. But anybody who knows me knows that I'm very, very careful about what I promise. It's almost like when I started my Kickstarter promotions, I would promise, I was still very conservative, to be honest, but I would promise more. Now I promise even less. I need to only go with the sure shot.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a lesson that I'm trying to learn myself. I mean, I'm already conservative, but sometimes good ideas come up along the way, like we did with our season 1.3, the DVDs we made for what we call Base Alchemy Part 1 for Earth, with Ben Comets and Matt Sexwish. And we had everything scheduled for 2 DVDs. So if you imagine that 1 minute of filming takes about an hour to 2 hours of editing, it's insane actually. We did everything, all the scheduling for 2 DVDs, and then we had so much great material that I said we can't cut this. We have to give this to the guys and out there, and so we made it 3 DVDs, which of course means extra work and so on. I actually hired somebody to do all of the video editing because of that, and all that just for adding extra content to a product which price will not change. So,
Right.
but that's the kind of thing we're trying to do. So I have to be a little bit more like you and be a little even more conservative with my estimates on some things.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you love what you do. Like, certainly when you have pride in what you do exactly that. You can't stop yourself sometimes, and you know, I love it. I love to hear stories like that. It's funny. You can have 2 kinds of conversations with business people. They can say, "I'm losing money because my supply chain is inefficient, and I keep outsourcing everything overseas." And then you hear another conversation, which is, "I'm losing money because I really love what I do, and I keep giving them too much."
Well, that's not bad though. So coming back to the zombie dragon, it looks like not going to be part of that Kickstarter.
Zombie Dragon, right now, he stands on the edge. He's 50-50. I got to underpromise and overdeliver. So look at the campaign, watch it launch, be there opening day. If it is going to be in the campaign, it's going to be a stretch goal. You know, I've got to make my work load even less. If the campaign, for some reason, tanks, I can't keep adding models to it.
Sure.
I've basically got to change my tack and fulfill that. If it's wildly successful, all the stretch goals are going to be in there, and I'm more than happy to get those models ready for you.
Well, I know that a lot of people in Europe are getting very excited. I know a lot of people in the US are getting very excited. So you've pretty much already covered like 2 major continents, if you want, and I think it will be very successful. But then again, as you said, you just wait and see how everything goes.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. You know, like it is what it is, and I'm glad to, you know, I'll be glad to get funding. We're not greedy, I can tell you that. It'll be funding, and we want to make models. That's what I'm in this for.
Now, you mentioned that you have the design for a plague demon, and you saw my eyebrow go like,
Not only that, the plague demon concept is the first concept I've heard in a long time that's gotten me really excited. And it's also a little bit risky.
Okay,
so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be something slightly more bizarre. You know, I'm competing with Kingdom. I'm not competing with them, but I'm inspired by Kingdom Death. They do some really wild stuff, man. Like I keep looking over to their stuff, thinking, "Oh, that must be nice to do some cool stuff like that." Like I love Creature Caster. Like we really rock the standards, and like this is the kind of thing that sings on a table. Yeah. But occasionally I want to do something just silly, you know,
Well, I mean, that's and I think we can be pretty sure that there will be further waves coming with the success of this Kickstarter, right?
Oh man, like if the Kickstarter goes well, if it goes as well as we think it's going to, we don't need a lot to run. Actually, we've certainly got big hearts. We're able to put in the work. This is where all of our passion is. And in terms of capital to run the business, we feel that if we do make our minimum requirement, like, you know, again, our Kickstarter is unique in the sense that we're actually asking for the amount of money that we need to operate our business. Yeah. And then we're sustainable. You know, anybody who knows me knows I'm huge on sustainability. I want a solid pipeline. I want a good core. That means if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed or the right side, it doesn't matter. Either way, you got a job, and you know.
And you have looked for suppliers, both in the US and in Europe. Is there any news on that?
Well, we got a really cool development happen with the company. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. For a while, I was looking at multiple manufacturers, multiple distributors, maybe a warehouse in North America and in Europe. And, you know, I was doing a lot of research. I was talking to a lot of my friends. I'm really lucky. My brother's an entrepreneur. My whole family are full of entrepreneurs.
Nice.
so it's easy for me to have these kind of focus groups and develop these things. But something that hadn't occurred to me, this always happens, and I would stress to any young business person out there to play the there should be this game. So what the there should be this game is I play two games every day. One is the there should be this, and another one is what if that was right.
Yeah.
But today for this podcast I'll explain there should be this. So,
Okay.
there should be this is me saying to myself there should be a service that goes so that I can set up my manufacturing to send to that service, and then they can distribute my product to warehouses all over the world. And once that package is in that country, all the duties have been paid, they then repackage it in that country and send it, literally, it's up the road. So, like, they will just send it to your house from the little warehouse that's in your country already. And then that way, if you're in Australia, you get the same service as if you're in the UK. And, of course, this service exists. In fact, a few of these services exist. One of them is Amazon. Amazon actually offers this to young publishers. Another company is Shipwire. So we got in on this global distribution rig that is set up for young entrepreneurs, and it has been awesome ever since.
Nice.
It totally made us world class in shipping without having a shipping and receiving department.
Yeah.
And
well, I can vouch for that. Shipping and receiving is as much fun as we are having. Packing hundreds of boxes and labeling them is not it's fun, but it's not as much fun as all of the other activities, just to say it very, very carefully.
Well, I think you nailed it. It is fun. I do miss it's funny, I was packaging your package the other day, and I enjoyed that. Like, I love the packing slip. I love the envelope.
Yeah, the first time we had a big order, it was over 100 units, and the DHL driver came and we opened the door and he saw the like four stacks of boxes and he went backwards like this. That was a fun moment, I can tell you that. It's nice to see it, but again, I mean, logistics is difficult. There's a lot of following up to do. We all know this, and having a good partner that actually does all of the international parts for you obviously is very, very helpful. So it's good, and I actually checked on that company as well.
Everybody should check it out. Check out what Amazon does. Check out what Shipwire does. There's other fulfillment services available. One's gonna suit you. Another cool thing is I got on the phone and talked with the representative from every one of these companies that I was interested in. Nice. All the global ones, the ones that get 5-star reviews. Right. I was talking to a human being, and I'm so old school, but like to me, that makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, try finding some contact at Google or Facebook. Just try.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's impossible. Honestly, sometimes I believe there's actually no people there because you never get any of them. So
it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
I'm a little old school as well. We have Jerry Allen commenting. He's looking forward to the 19th. So thank you, Jerry. I am looking forward to the 19th. I know where I'm going to be when it goes live. Maybe on my keyboard and going like, oh, there's only 42 left, and I have to be really fast.
I need white knuckled at the keyboard.
Then we have Papa Soul. He asked, do you think you ever sculpt a dragon or a demon with a Far Eastern Japanese feel? I assume the westernized versions of these creatures are more common sight in wargaming. Love the spider demon, by the way. So, Far Eastern Japanese demons or dragons.
What's this commenter's name again?
Papa Soul.
Papa Soul. Well, Guten Morgen, Papa Soul, for me anyways. I was recently on my Facebook, and I've been emailing with about maybe 20 Creaturecaster fans, some clanmates, and they've been sending ideas that they have, not in an entitled way, but in an entirely constructive way. And I always appreciate that. And among them was some Japanese folk art. Now, I have a tattoo background, so I actually am very familiar with a lot of Japanese mythology, and a lot of Hanya, Oni, Kirin, a lot of these creatures, obviously the dragons. And there is a really cool bit of Japanese artwork I wanted to do another female demon, and I believe it was Nyla who sent me the Oh, I hope I'm getting this right. I think it was Sophie. Sophie just got up.
So we can see the shadow.
That's right. She casts a long shadow. She's a tall, beautiful person. So I believe it was Nyla. Nyla's been awesome. We've been talking a lot about designs, and she had maybe the commenter will have seen this, which is a Japanese, beautiful, almost geisha-looking woman. She's very coiffed and very traditional looking, but she's got the spider mandible.
Nice.
He's really awesome, like almost like a predator.
Right.
And it's like this awesome juxtaposition between this beautiful woman and then this monstrous, just the mouth. It's just a mess, and it looks so good. Like I can't wait to sculpt that model.
Nice. Well, I think that's also the appeal of the Spider Queen, isn't it? It's like this beauty paired with this kind of just demon creatures. It's really nice.
Well, this model is right up his alley. If he loves the spider, this is the mother of the Spider Queen.
Okay. We got Kakalakambeki. Thank you, Kakalakambeki. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That's pretty old school right there.
Yeah.
You're sculpting. Yeah, you're sculpting Trout. Don't forget to sleep once you're done. So once you're done, that's important, right? Not yet.
Yeah, good advice. I'll take that.
So Kickstarter. Coming back to that, 19th of April. What can we expect on the 19th of April? So you'll be sitting at home and pressing the Go Live campaign button.
There'll be a whole lot of Control R going on. Once I hit the button at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time. And that's going to be about 6 o'clock, I believe, in Deutschland.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna hit the button. Thank you so much, Sophie. Sophie's so awesome. Thank you. She got me a coffee. Thank you.
Nice.
So we're gonna hit launch, and I don't know how long Kickstarter takes to launch. I think it's right away.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have early bird specials. Early bird specials are gonna save you about 15%. So it's pretty significant. And we're gonna have
by quantity, or how does it work? There's no time limitation on Kickstarters, right? It's only quantity, isn't it?
That's exactly it. I wish I had more control over that, because I would actually love to take our Facebook friends, give them a discount. I would love to give everybody a discount, but I gotta also pay my mortgage. Yeah. But it's set up in such a way where it rewards people that can be there for that opening. Really, what's going to be the first day, because there's going to be about 300 units. I believe the number is 300 currently of each particular unit type. So it's not a small amount. It's actually a pretty big amount by Kickstarter standards. But if our analytics are any indication, the campaign is going to be pretty wacky on the first day.
So when you say 300 units, is it 300 units stretched over 6 models, or is it 300 of each?
It's going to be 300 stretched over. Well, it's going to be 300 of each, pretty much. Okay. There's 2 ways we can structure our tiers right now. One is 1 tier for each one model. Another one is to do brackets. So like bracket A pricing, bracket B, bracket C. I'm kind of leaning towards the first one, because then you can just kind of button mash like really quick when you get there and be like, I want this demon, and then I want to add this amount for another demon.
Right.
And it really suits button mashing. So, we'll see. Or maybe it won't be as urgent as I think, and we'll have time to construct pledge tiers that are a little more sophisticated. But I love simple campaigns. They're my favorite campaigns.
Yeah, sometimes they got like 58 different categories and pledges, and yeah, it's not. I think especially in the aftermath of the Kickstarter campaign, it's not really fun sorting all of these out. So
well, you got to account for all this, right? Like Kickstarter does have some software to help you with this, but that's like thousands of orders you have to still make your spreadsheet over.
Yep. Yeah. So will there be a pledge level for all demons? Like for everything?
Yeah, there's going to be a bundle package. You save the most money with the all demon bundle package. Yeah, it's awesome. It's there's going to be, we have all the models that are sculpted already, so some are going to be stretch goal models. That might not be a pledge tier. Those might have to be optional upgrades that you add on to the pledge tier that says all the starting models.
Okay.
But you will get, bye, sweetie. Sophie's getting her dreadlocks fixed up for roller derby tomorrow. Is that what you're doing? And then what are we doing later? We go for a little breakfast or something. All right. Bye, my love. Oh, so what was that?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh.
Auf Wiedersehen. Very good. Very good.
Gotcha. All right.
Nice.
See ya.
Okay. So yeah, I think on your Facebook you also have an update and I also posted this on our blog. Let me just pull this up real quick because that's for everyone to see. This isn't this nice? Hello Kitty.
Oh my! Whoa!
Yeah,
Holy
that is me right there. Okay, here we go. We went to 42 likes on Facebook today.
Oh, nice one. Oh, you guys are doing so good, man.
Man, I was so happy. It's like we've been looking forward to this day for like ever. And this morning I was like I slept 9 hours, but I wasn't quite awake yet, and I went to Facebook like with one eye, like 42, and I was right awake. So to all of the guys out there,
dude.
Thank you very much for your support. We have become the fastest growing miniature-related site on Facebook, I think, in the last year or so.
You guys are blowing up.
It's not. It's really nice. It's really nice to see, and especially for the guys. You see two of them. We got here. This is Matt Sexwish.
You got a handsome team. Holy cow!
Yeah. They look. See, that's one of the disadvantages. They all look better than me. They all got girlfriends. Like,
you have to hire people.
I can't win, man. So yeah, we got Matt here. He's working for me freelance right now, and hopefully I can hire him full time very soon if our campaign goes very well. And then this, of course, is Ben Comets. Together they are quadruple Slayer Sword winners. So we got one Slayer Sword here and 3 over there. But yeah, I got a little post here. But what I wanted to show you was this here.
And those are Slayer swords. Those are not golden demons. Those are like swords.
Those are swords, yes.
That's special.
Ben has, I don't think even he knows. I think 33 or 34 demons, something like this. So he's, he's a pretty good painter. So I'm glad.
Sculpted on 2.
See, there you go.
Jeez, that's like he's doing pretty good.
Well, I got 1. Yay! And and honestly, that year the category was like half empty. Actually, I should say half full. Possibly, I'm always optimistic. But now, what I wanted to show you here is this. I got this little post here on masterminis.blogspot.de, and it has also the launch video where you talk about all of the launch details. Mm-hmm. And if people want to check it out, they can go here, and this is exactly what they find. And this is also on your Facebook page.
Yeah, but go to Master Minis.
No, go to CreatureCast. See, that's cross promotion right there.
Shucks.
Okay, now, why should we support you?
Well, that's an excellent question. I think you should support me because my mortgage is really expensive, and gotta put the kids in school. No, it's CreatureCaster is set up. We're a cottage industry. CreatureCaster is me. It's Sophie helping out with some accounting. It's Joe and Vince doing some sculpting. We're actually very similar to Painting Buddha. We're a very sustainable, a very, for us, we're a very local business doing very international things. And we need somebody in the miniature scene who's sculpting models that we need and making changes for models that we prefer. Yeah. And that's just the kind of thing we offer. And if anybody doesn't like, CreatureCaster has very, very few haters because we either change our model to make them happy, or we just say, just buy a different model. Like I was used to Ultra Forge. We were the first forge. Other forges, Dream Forge, this forge, Demon Forge, Dragon Forge, these all popped up. I've never spent a day being competitive with these companies. I'm never jealous. I figure we all got our own style just by being ourselves.
Yeah.
And I've never felt competitive with anybody. So we're this inert little group of people that are just like doing our thing. We're going to keep doing it. I know that this is where I'm most comfortable. I've had a career tattooing. I've had a career in e-business. This is where my home is, and this is where I hope to ride out until I'm old and gray. So, you know, what you are getting with Creature Caster is also the very beginning of what is going to end up being a long lineage, I hope.
Nice. And honestly, a lot of people ask me as well, why do you support Creature Caster so much? I mean, actually, we did our first BEEBLE BABBLE just for you, because then we thought the launch date was I think it was February 1st, was it at the time?
Yeah.
And I kind of knew your background, obviously from UltraForge, and then we kind of got to talk a little bit. And I think the reason why I would like you to succeed is mostly because you're a really nice guy. We've been talking. We've been talking a lot over these last couple of weeks, and we are also doing some upcoming cooperations with other companies as well, and we're looking for people that are in the hobby for the right reason. You're not in the hobby to make a lot of money, because you're not in the hobby to be greedy or to get rich. Obviously, we all want to make some money at some point. But you're in the hobby because you love the hobby. You've invested years of your life to become a better sculptor. You're not producing your stuff overseas in some cheap labor countries. You're looking for control. You're not over-promising. So I think those are all the right things. And a lot of people out there that have done Kickstarters have been disappointed in the past. You do a Kickstarter, and then they promise you it takes a year, and it takes a year and a half, and you get your product, and it's not good. All these kind of things. Obviously, there's also some good Kickstarters. I'm not saying they're all bad.
For sure.
But I think those are all reasons why just supporting somebody who's starting a new business, and that's what Kickstarter is all about. I think Creature Caster is a good way to start.
Yeah, you know, maybe we'll provide what is a baseline. You know, I don't want to count any chickens before they hatch. We've got to have a successful campaign. We have to fulfill on time. But if that all goes well, it provides a standard template for forges. I keep forging ahead. You know?
Forging ahead.
But I like it, you know. I get emails. The kinds of coffees I have and emails I get are from other young sculptors, men and women that are getting their start in the industry, and I'm known as the kind of person that will share the information I have. Again, I'm just not a very competitive guy. Not with miniatures. I am when I'm gaming. I'm competitive in a friendly way. When I box, so I'm competitive that way. But I think I get it out of my system with sports, and I think and also another thing, you know, that makes this company and this hobby special is there's nothing like it in my life, and I've been in other circles. I've hung out with this kind of tattoo crowd, this musician crowd, and the people, you know, you at a party and you're hanging out in the kitchen and everybody's drinking. The conversation, I will seek out the one person that loves even Game of Thrones, anything, that loves the first Terminator movie, that loves Warhammer. You know, I'll find that one person, and then I will glue myself to them for the rest of the party, and we will geek out for the next 2 hours. People will be coming up being cool, and like they got the drink. It's like, man, we're talking about like Warhammer, like
right.
You can't touch this. We're immune to cool right now. We're just like, we're having a very real conversation about some important stuff, and those are my favorite moments. And like in the movie Almost Famous, it said the only real genuine moment you can spend with somebody else is a moment where you're being uncool. And I honestly believe the best thing in our hobby is we're not posers. We're not spending our time pretending we're something we're not. Yeah. And that's a beautiful, unique thing that should be preserved in our hobby.
Yeah. Well, that should be preserved for mankind, I think. And now, speaking of Space Marines, that should be in the gene pool for everyone.
Yes, that should be our gene pool.
See, there you go. See, I had a geek out moment yesterday. I went to a MediaMarkt, which is a Best Buy kind of store, and I had to buy some ink for a printer. And I ended up forgetting that, but I bought the Games of Thrones season 3, and so the second one was called Catching Fire from the Hunger Games, the one. And, So, I won't have time this week, but next week I hopefully will be able to geek out a little bit there.
Well, the special features on that Game of Thrones box have to be awesome. I will buy it just for the making of special features.
It's actually one of the very few Blu-rays I bought because I think the everything they do is just so perfect, and it's just worth to watch it in the highest quality you can get. So it's really nice.
And we have to remember, like with Game of Thrones, it's not the highest budget. It is a high budget, but they spent a lot of their money on locations. Imagine like somebody gives you all that money for a show, and then instead of shooting it on a backlot at a movie studio in Hollywood, you're like, no, we actually want to go to Iceland, and then we actually want to go to Morocco.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, that's like 80% of your budget. You have to, like, make your armor and hire people, and they're like, yeah, let's do that anyways. Like, I have a lot of respect for those people.
It's kind of funny because we as a painting would have this kind of over 2 points connection to George R.R. Martin as well, and the connection is that one of the guys, Stefan Rath, we call him also Dervish, he's doing the season 1.2 DVD for freehands and banners. So he's one of the cleanest painters out there, and he's doing awesome freehands and banners. He actually, not only him, a lot of the painters here in Europe paint for George R.R. Martin, and also some American painters, because he's also a miniature geek. He has
cool.
He collects knights. He's got like a whole collection of knights of all kinds of brands and stuff. And I think it's really nice that even somebody like him, not even just, especially somebody like him, is just a nerd, like we are, and just living his dream and making
those stories, man. That's my favorite. I love finding out celebrities are nerds. Same with Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson, when I was working at Games Workshop, came into my Games Workshop. Actually, Robin Williams came in.
Oh, nice.
He, weirdly enough, he came in with who was the woman who was in Interview with a Vampire? She was just a girl at the time.
See, if you ask me actor questions 99 out of 100 times, you will not get me anywhere. I have no idea.
It was Kristen. Anyway, she came in, and you know who's a huge nerd is Vin Diesel.
Really? I did not know that.
He plays a Dungeons and Dragons campaign now. He currently has one going.
That is awesome. Now I know he is almost a miniature himself, isn't he?
He is like a human miniature.
He's not very tall, is he?
He's built kind of like a 28 mil heroic proportioned person.
Yeah. Well, you know who one of my nerds is? Now I'm going to show you some of my private nerdom here.
Yeah. Let me into the inner circle.
Let me move my camera. Oh, there we go.
Oh man, we're like in the inner bowels. Look at this. Oh man.
Now who's missing there in the crew?
Okay, let me guess. Well, that's not Geordie next to Picard, is it?
No, this is number one. Then we got Data.
That's Riker.
Counselor Troy.
I didn't recognize Riker with that.
It's the first season picture.
But if it's first season, then there's no Geordie. Or sorry, not Geordie. There's no Wesley.
There you go. Wait a minute, my camera is now completely off. Hold on.
Come on, you gotta ask me harder nerd questions than that.
No, but yeah, like Wesley Crusher, Will Wheaton, he's like one of my all-time nerd heroes. I mean, you probably know his channel as well. All the games he's playing, all these kind of things, and he is just living. He's living the dream, and he's also connected to all of these D&D live role playings that they're doing.
Yeah, I love watching the live role play.
Yeah, good, fun guy. I hope at some point I just want to meet him. I actually have the season 1 supporter box now labeled number 42, like my special homebrew extra edition.
Oh, yeah.
For him at some point. So hopefully he would see this at some point, and I can send it to him.
Well, we'll go out to a convention sometime, and then if he is there, then we'll wait in line together, and then we'll meet him. I actually went out to Emerald City Comic Con because I wanted to meet Summer Glau. Weirdly enough, my friend Derek Hamilton, he plays Lex Luthor in Smallville. He's done a bunch of stuff. He did the stunt work for Red Skull. He worked with the same director as Summer Glau. And so I was going to name drop and kind of be like, hey, we know some industry people. So, not that Summer would care, but this one director was particularly people are very fond of him because he's a very hard worker. He was the guy who did the pilot for Serenity. And
Love
I believe it was,
Serenity.
oh wait, no, he was the guy who did the pilot for the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh, okay.
And, so I looked at the lineup to meet her, and it went all the way around. It just winded around Comic-Con, and I stuck at one booth looking at a guy's illustrations for a comic. Poor Sophie was driving her crazy because I must have looked at this book for like half an hour, and I totally missed out of everything else that was going on. This guy's illustrations were so good. Like, he was amazing.
We have another comment, and I will have to readjust my camera. I'm sorry, I keep fiddling with my camera after I moved it.
So cool, you let us in the inner sanctum.
Yes, so now we have to see this here. The chilling,
man.
The chilling Wargamers shirt.
You got a killer shirt.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's another. If anybody isn't currently watching the Chillers, go over and check out the Chillsums. They're awesome.
They are awesome, especially Bud's there with Kuhn and Spud and all that. I think I got it right now. We got a little thing going on the side here.
Yeah. They're all at Adepticon right now. Wish I was there.
Yes. Now, Jerry Allen just said Kirsten Dunst. Is that who you were referring to?
That is exactly who it was. Very, very good call.
I have to say that she is quite nice. Very, very hot.
She's very beautiful, and she was very accommodating to our nerdkin when she was in the Games Workshop.
Very nice. Okay, well, now since we're already talking about our innermost secrets here, we have a little show prepared. Jeremy Glen talks about...
What have your reporters dug up?
Jeremy Glen talks about Jeremy Glen.
Let me take you on a tour.
Let me take you...
Oh, man.
Let me take you down and go into Jeremy Glen.
What is this guy doing? So it turns out Jeremy was not always a miniature sculptor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he actually, in this photograph, he is a miniature sculptor, but he's also a tattoo artist. So this is my friend Bev, and we're doing a tattoo on her forearm of her girlfriend, Trixie, who's a roller derby player. I'll be seeing Bev and Trixie tomorrow, actually. Mm-hmm. And this is in my tattoo shop in Vancouver.
Okay, and I did actually find the tattoo shop in Vancouver, but I don't have it linked right now, so let's see, I have to click.
Well, you know, I don't tattoo the public anyways, so it's
there you go.
it's a private studio. I wouldn't tattoo you even if you got a hold of me. But I have to have some.
Is that because? Are you saying that there's too much surface to tattoo? Is that what you're saying right here?
No. I'd be honored if I could tattoo you, but I probably wouldn't do it in the shop. I'd probably just do it privately.
Like privately, nice.
But this here is on my friend Yogi Bearings. His name is Yogi Bearings.
That makes sense, yeah.
Another roller derby name. He's an animator. He's actually an excellent illustrator, and this is the kind of tattoo I prefer to do, which is really big, really wild. And like, pardon the pun, it is a wild creature. But this we painted on his leg, just like body paint. I do a lot of that just to get the basic silhouette.
Okay.
And then we had him in the next week, and we did the final tattoo.
Nice. This one I like a lot.
Yeah, this is a portrait of Mae West, and am I getting that right? Mae West, yeah. And yeah, a great person. This went on my friend Karma, and this was a lot of fun. My specialty is black and gray. I'm a little bit colorblind, so I tend to focus more on the black. I know colorblind tattoo artist probably doesn't sound too good, but
well, if you're doing black and gray, I think you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. And really, it doesn't really impact the color too much either.
Yeah. And then we have something completely different.
Oh, man.
A Zelda trophy. What is that all about?
The reason why this is associated with me is because I built a prop for the Skyward Sword. This is like when you went to go buy it at EB. These are the displays that were in North America, and then myself, Deo, who just did some armor for World of Warcraft movie, actually, among lots of other projects. I worked on this with him, and this has all been modeled by Sarah Hansen, a student that I went to school with, and it was a really fun project.
Yeah, I can tell. Nice.
And was a ton of work. I wouldn't do it again. It was a lot of work. This I would do again. This is from a local show that's filmed here called Once Upon a Time, and in this there is this prop, so I sculpted up the prop. This is originally sculpted out of Sculpey. It's a stunt prop, so we had to do, I think it was 5 castings, and then do a bit of a nice little burnish on the final thing. And I didn't realize the actress who used it was the woman from True Blood. So all my friends freaked out that it was the True Blood person, but I've never seen True Blood, so I didn't know how to react.
Nice. And now we come to something completely different again.
Oh man, that's hot.
Your
that's
own
right
artwork.
It's bizarre because she has this hot alien body and has this kind of weird penis-like head. So it's like it's very confusing. But this is H.R. Giger. This is exactly what he does. This is a silhouette that he developed. This is my take on like an alien hybrid because I saw some alien hybrids with mouths that were like human mouths, and then I thought, what else can be human? Like right now the alien hybrids tend to be a little more alien than human, so I slided the human into it a little bit more, and like on a slider, the way I describe it is, if alien is here and human is here, we get to play with the levels. So this is just an experiment, and actually I painted this just before the spider demon, I believe. It's 2012. It says there, and she influenced a little bit of the spider demon.
I was just about to ask that whether there was some influence there. Okay. This one is nice too.
Yes, this is a painting that I did. So I paint for pleasure, and I was gonna actually do an art show. So for a while I was focusing on that, and I was just taking humans in bizarre poses, usually yoga poses or similar poses. But I also started yoga at this time, so like this reminds me of Shavasana, or the corpse pose, as yoga enthusiasts would know it. And I thought that sounded so metal, the corpse pose.
Was she able to actually untie that knot by herself, or did you have to?
I don't know. I think she might have actually. She might still be like that somewhere in the world. She's like a pretzel you get at a hockey game.
This one I like a lot.
Yeah, I'm really into plague masks and kind of Black Plague type imagery. So this is almost like a death metal cover, like a very heavy metal kind of take. I was playing again with weird anatomy, weird pseudo-sexuality mixed with really weird art elements. I don't know. I was just being weird. I was testing my boundaries.
Yeah. And then we have this one here. This is probably more of on the risky side of what you're talking about when you talk about miniatures.
Yeah, totally. This is Lar. This is the god of procrastination. Me and a roommate, Joel. It was really Joel who invented Lar. He invented a whole pantheon of gods that influenced his life. So there's Jigron, which is the god of everything that is good and inspirational. This is Lar, the god of everything that procrastinates and that holds you back.
It's gonna be my god then.
Yeah, well, I think he affects us all, and we. So I wanted to illustrate him so I kind of knew what my enemy looked like, because I'm a very productive guy. But I made his hands like snakes because there was a Skinny Puppy song, another Vancouver band where there's a line in the song where he says, "Hands like snakes sow the seeds." So he got hands like snakes.
Okay, cool. And then my personal favorite is this one.
Well, this is very pretty, and this is one of my specialties. I love the female form. I love to illustrate it. And this is on my friend Mike. He's a firefighter. I tattooed this on his forearm. Great guy. Been tattooing him for, I think, like 8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome guy. I always draw stuff that he's really open to. Sometimes a client will say, do what you want to do and enjoy your styles. And he's one of those guys. I always appreciate those people.
Nice. And now again, a switch of pace. The fighting Jeremy.
Oh my goodness.
With no armor.
This is me about to get my ass kicked by 4 men. You know, well, you can actually see I'm wearing a knee pad there, so I'm slightly.
Okay, so what is this all about?
Well, this is fight practice. So Deo, who is the Legionnaire, who was third from the left, the guy who's in front of me.
Okay.
This is his fight practice with his SCA group, Legion 13. So they get together and they fight. And I am a Muay Thai kickboxer, and I've done some traditional Western boxing, and I do some Cali stick fighting. So since
Cali
there's a
stick
crossover,
fighting. Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
What is Cali stick fighting? That sounds like a
or eskrima. It's a Filipino martial art where you use rattan sticks and you fight with them.
Okay.
And you usually wear headgear and some armor. There's a beautiful unarmed kind of drill discipline you can do with it, which is very beautiful and fun to do. It's almost like capoeira. But since it uses rattan sticks and it's a combat sport, we can apply a lot of it to this SCA fighting. So here I am just talking a little bit about some stuff, but really it's Deo's fight practice, and they're really teaching me most of everything that's going on because I'm just getting into armored combat.
Okay, and now the last picture we will talk about is something that you referenced quite a bit already, roller derby.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah, if I look at this, I can actually tell why you like roller derby.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look at how gorgeous this team is. Like this is that's me on the left there. That's Mac the Mouth, who's the other guy. He's the coach of the team. At this point, I'm the assistant coach or the bench caller, what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the team. You can actually see Sophie. She is second from the left on the top. She's the tallest person in the photo.
Oh, okay. Is it number 100 or 00? What is that?
00. Her name is Amazon. And double zeros.
Nice. Is there a 42 in the team? Doesn't look like it.
There is probably who's 42 on the team. I think. Let's see. There's a 45. I'm not sure if there's a 42. I used to number them before every game, but I don't remember a 42 actually.
What's with the fish? Thanks and so long, and thanks for all the fish. What's that all about?
Oh well, that's a Vancouver thing. So we'll play hockey games and we'll throw fish on the ice. We will. It's kind of that's a traveling. I can't remember the salmon's name. Oh man, if anybody from the All Stars is watching, they're gonna kill me. But it's like Sammy the salmon or something.
The salmon of doubt. There you go.
Yeah, I've taken lots of photos with him, but I unfortunately I'm not too familiar with his backstory. I'm a fan though.
Good. All right, now we've learned a little more about you. We've talked about the Kickstarter, April 19th.
Can you hear that? They're doing work on this place right now.
Yeah, actually, I can hear that.
That's maddening. I'm really sorry about that.
It's very, very quiet, though. I can hardly hear it.
All right.
Now, let's see. Do we have any more questions? I know I have a very, very long question, and let me just try to quickly to summarize this. So maybe you can do some intermission music in the meantime.
Go ahead and read that. I'm gonna show everybody my dragon. Check it out.
Okay, check the dragon.
Oh my god! I got the test print for the Creature Caster Dragon. So this is one of the sizing prints that we use to make sure the scale is correct. He doesn't have his wings on right now, or his howdah, but this is kind of his general shape. You can actually see we haven't done any kind of gluing, so he's just kind of tacked together right now. So he's got a few kind of gaps in his parts right now, but those are, of course, beautifully closed up once he gets all glued together. But he's big. He's not too big. He's not too small.
Put the wings on.
Yeah, let me go ahead and show you that. So he's got these big ports in his back for the wings. They're so big and so robust that you can actually use gravity to hold his wings into place. Because this guy's got
gravity is usually our enemy in miniature painting, and you just made it into a helper.
Gravity. These are just half his wings right now, so you don't see his wing tips. He's actually got the whole second half of his wings as well.
Wow.
But you can start to see some of the. He's very impressive, like in terms of just his like. You see his muscles going there, and this is dry fit. This is like all dry fit into place. So with glue, this thing is indestructible. Like just to give you an idea of the kind of port that's in there, if you can kind of see, you can kind of see that big channel in the back there is where the wing sits in, and it's just huge. It's robust, and whenever I see a print like this, I'm like, just keep making it thicker, keep making it stronger, and now our joints are like. They're awesome. I love them.
Nice. Well, I mean, gamers will definitely appreciate that. I mean, nothing is worse than having a dragon and have the wing come off. I mean, if you have a kind of like a plug or something, whatever you call them, that actually holds together just like that, and you just kind of you can pin it on top of that. You can put some
Oh yeah,
milliput or
that's even not
green
counting.
stuff or whatever.
Oh yeah, totally. It gets even better, but you know, being able to take it out of the box and dry fit it, that's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so let me give you a summary of probably the longest questions I've ever received by
In your
James.
life?
Might be, I'm sure. By James Granger, and there's actually a multiple part question. I'm trying to summarize it.
Is that James Granger? That guy is our field reporter. He asks the best questions.
What has been your most interesting sculpt so far regarding anatomy?
Oh, well, that's a very good question.
And maybe if I can also ask this, of the sculpts you've done, which one has been the most challenging?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, out of all the most challenging anatomy, was it enjoyable or challenging? Or both?
Challenge. The first one was most challenging,
Mhm.
and the second one was what did I say? The most interesting.
Interesting. Challenging and interesting.
It's probably,
Challenging anatomy is always the it's always the woman. It's always going to be the female form. So it's always going to be the spider demon.
okay.
That's only because we know it and we love it. So there are rules. And whenever there's rules in anatomy, that's where you got to really put in your homework. Now, the vulture demon, I really wanted his back to tell the story of like a cantankerous kind of creature with this real snake curve to his back, and I didn't want him to be like the Forge World Lord of Change,
Right.
which had the craziest anatomy. Like, I was not a fan of the way they approached that model, which is awesome because I knew what I didn't want to do,
Right.
and I knew I had a strong concept of where I did want it to go. So it was challenging, but I had vision. So and it was made easier by other references. But the most challenging is always the woman. And what was the other question?
And the most interesting, as far as like maybe fun, I'm not sure, or maybe I'd say I would probably say interesting and challenging are about the same thing, aren't they?
Well, interesting, like one thing that was really fascinating was I knew I wanted to have two dragons. Originally, I wanted to have two dragons to be at two different price points. One would be a less expensive dragon that people could afford, and one would be an epic, crazy, silly dragon. But then Kang came out from Cool Mini, and he is an epic, silly dragon. And I didn't want to redo that model. I knew
Right.
that Cool Mini nailed it. You know, it's really the most epic, hugest, most badass dragon. So I decided to make both of my models affordable and very playable. So they both ended up on the 50 by 75 base, and they both ended up to be about the same size. But now I had the extra job of making them feel different. So Prothero had to feel old. His scales have to be scaly, but they also have to feel kind of wrinkly because I wanted to convey this feeling of age. But with Pyre, with the canyon or the mountain dragon, I wanted his scales to feel newer and shinier, like a snake.
proud kind of.
And also their faces are different. Pyre looks very reptilian, whereas Prothero looks a little more mammalian. So that was very interesting and fascinating to explore all the different aspects. Plus, their jaws work differently. If you look really closely, you'll see that Prothero's jaw works like a mammal. It's got a joint and it's got a kind of a chewing jaw. Whereas Pyre, his jaw unlocks and becomes like a snake's jaw. So when he opens his mouth, it almost unhinges. Probably does unhinge. So he can eat larger prey. He can probably eat like a full horse or cow and then force this down his snake neck. And actually, they did a really good job of this in Lord of the Rings. If you see the fell beast kind of move its neck, it moves very much like a bird, and you can see how it would almost like force food back down its neck.
Yeah. Now, James also asks, is there any classical monster that you are interested in that you haven't had the opportunity yet?
Oh, dude, like tons. Like I haven't done anything. I look at my catalog and it's just this tiny. This is me working for 2 years on a tiny catalog. Like What I want to do is I'm an artist as well. I paint, so I'm able to do concept art for other sculptors.
Mm.
I'm very passionate about this, A, because it affords me the chance to get to all these creatures that I love. Like I love Greek mythology. I love all the hydras and all the titans. But I love religious mythology. I
Mm.
love all the Leviathan and Behemoth and Beelzebub. And I love Hindu mythology, so I get to all
Okay.
those spots that I want to do. Plus, I love fantasy.
Mm.
There's all these Dungeons and Dragons, Gary Gygax models that need to be explored, and all those ideas are there.
Are there
Um,
any artists or projects that you're currently watching with regards of like something that you're really following as a fan yourself? Do you have maybe like a recommendation or two for our viewers?
Well, what I do, well, watch a whole lot of Simon Lee. Anything Simon Lee does, or Spider Zero, as he's known in the sculpture community. Of course, the Chaflet brothers. A lot of my favorite sculptors are actually model makers, or actually model kit makers, like Takea. I'm into. I got really into diorama and model painting when I was a kid.
Okay.
And now some of my favorite sculptors are still in the effects industry. A lot of work for Stan Winston. You can see here Spider Zero has actually done a lot of concept work for Ultraman, but also you can see on the left that's a Jaeger because he got hired
Yeah.
by Guillermo to do some
For
concept
Pacific
sculpts,
Rim, huh?
and that's like he's unbelievable. This is like also hard sculpting. His best stuff is his organic biomechanical stuff, but you can see that this is him just being silly. Like
Right.
the physicality in this piece is unbelievable. But here you can see his real biomechanical work coming out of the kaiju,
Okay.
and a lot of the kaiju stuff came from him. Can't say enough good things about Simon Lee. Has only been sculpting for maybe 6 years.
Wow.
Um, he's an absolute phenom and is pure heart. This guy is like pure heart, and I love sculptors like that.
Nice. Now, after 6 years, I'll be able to form like a little ball that almost is circular. So
Well, 6 years ago, your flames were smaller, and now your flames are boisterous.
yes. Now, James also asked me a question, and that's what is the exact state of season 1.2 and 1.3? Has work begun on 1.4 yet, or are you waiting on the announcements? Now, we also wrote this on our website today. Season 1.2 and 1.3 are done. They're edited. We have just some minor cleanup work to do. We are in quality control right now. That means we are watching the material, not just once, not just twice, probably about 3 times. It's about 18 hours of material in total. And the DVDs will be sent to the manufacturing plant probably next week, the way it looks right now, or very early the week after. And then it'll take about, it depends a little bit on the holidays, but between 2 and 4 weeks of production. So we're looking at the end of April, beginning of May for the release. And again, for all of you that haven't heard this yet, we have decided to include an extra third DVD, so basically 50% more content at the same price for season 1.3.
At the same price?
At the same price, but wait, there's more.
You're pure heart. That's pure heart.
There, let's see. Now I have to be marketing. Hold on. Now on our webpage today, we announced something that we will reveal next week, and that is stretch goals. Now we are not a Kickstarter. We're trying to do everything with our own means right now. And I'm not saying that we won't be doing something like a crowd funding campaign in the future, but we have stretch goals, and our stretch goals are kind of hidden. Actually, today by hitting 42 viewers, we unlocked a very special secret stretch goal that nobody knows about. And next week we will actually show everyone what they will get on top of their order, without even knowing that it was in there.
Oh, and man, that's awesome.
Could be a free miniature. I'm not saying anything, but yeah. So this will be up next week. But yeah, so that is the status. We're almost done, and every minute we are spending right now is a minute that we are spending on quality, just to make sure that everything is just right.
It's going to be awesome. And for all the Creature Caster fans that are learning about painting Buddha for the first time, what you do is you get a DVD, teaches you how to paint, teaches you some techniques you're not doing. Super fun to watch. You learn a ton, but it's hugely inspiring while you're working on your own stuff. So you put it on, you paint, they work together. It's chocolate and peanut butter. Just put it on when you're working on your stuff. It's a great feeling.
No, that's very sad that you said this because I really don't like peanut butter, but that's probably European.
Not chocolate and peanut butter for you.
If we can go for Nutella, the German chocolate spread, I'm all.
Oh, nice.
So there you go.
That's like chocolate and spread all in one.
Yeah, and maybe just really quickly to kind of complete this marketing scheme that's going on right now here. The sets, here on the left you see a mock-up of the Season 1.2, the Free Hands and Banner set, 2 DVDs, and on the right we see the mock-up for the base Alchemy Part 1 Earth set, and these are actually the bases that will be covered on the 3 DVDs. They are currently all on pre-order. And we have an early beard special. We don't have an early bird special like you do. We have the early beard special. And you can actually save quite a bit of money because the final price will be 29 euros for each of the DVD sets. And right now you get them at some rebate. Okay, and for the one person that asked me, not the one person, but for the people that asked me about Season 1.1, they're currently sold out. There are limited quantities, and the pre-sales have been going really well. We won't be selling out in the next week or so, but Season 1.1 is pretty much sold out. Just saying. Okay, but now let's conclude this. We are already at 1 hour 20, and I'm not sure whether we should do a live demo tonight or not. How do you feel?
Well, let's. I got another podcast to do, and I probably should start getting ready for that. I got a local podcaster coming down to film me. But what we can do is, since we got you viewers here, let's go ahead and do just you and me. We'll do a little session. We'll record it on Skype, and then we'll put it up on our sites.
That sounds very good. I think that's good.
Maybe we'll get Spud back, and then we'll get Spud in on it, do a little conference, and do a little design together.
That would be nice. As soon as he's back from Adapticon, he probably has some very nice things to report from there as well.
And I'll just be drawn away, and you guys can chat. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now that show is, again, Chilling Wargamers.
The Chillers.
The Chillers.
It's emotional.
It's very emotional, always. Let me just get this up real quick, just to complete the circle. And let me get my private messages out of the way, because nobody should see those, actually, I think. Pressing the wrong button.
Messages from your adoring female fans.
Yeah, there's so many. Hold on. Here we go. So the Chilling Wargamers, they have a weekly show, definitely worth watching. I'm on there every now and then, not all the time. But especially if you're a gamer, if you want to hear about events, if you want to meet the people behind the news, if you want, even some of the kind of star companies, star sculptors, and the kind of movers and shakers of the scene, definitely a good channel to watch. And you will be on Chilling Wargamers on April 17th, if I'm right?
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be right before the Kickstarter campaign, which will be awesome. Are you going to be a guest on that show?
I plan to be a guest on the show. I won't be talking as much as today, but I'll probably just sit back and enjoy the whole thing.
You can be a guest on Chillers, man. That's a position of honor.
Yeah, I hope so. It's the beard. It's all the beard.
That's awesome. I got to start growing this thing. Honestly, I can't grow facial hair. I keep trying. One day I'll be a real man, but just a boy.
You can always try. Now, you will also be on a couple of other shows, upcoming shows, and you'll always announce this on your Facebook channel. Here we see a couple of interviews, and we also agreed that some of the secrets will be kept for other shows. So I know that on the 17th, with the Chilling Wargamers, you probably go into a lot of detail on some of these things, so definitely worth watching.
Yeah, you got to check that out. I'm going to show you the Spider Demon head. So it's going to be, that's a huge reveal. It's a Kickstarter part. It's a risky part. It's like, I was like, you know what? It's a Kickstarter exclusive. This thing's going off the rails. I'm going to do some really demonic, crazy stuff. So it's pretty fun.
All right. So we will table the live show, which I think is fine. Realizing that we're almost at an hour 30 already, but I think we do have one final announcement, don't we?
Oh yeah, we do.
Yes.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it is a big one. Now it is. It has to do with this beauty here.
Mm-hmm.
It is the vulture demon. And what have we started talking about in the beginning, and what did it turn out to be?
Well, way back, we were talking about collaborating and painting a model together.
Mm-hmm.
And you decided that your favorite model was the Vulture Demon because it offers some, actually looking at the detail on the surface, offers some really nice painting opportunities.
Yes.
So what I did is I got my Vulture Demon that I had here. I had the test print done that was done for scaling purposes. We decided actually we wanted the model to be a slightly different scale, but all the details there, and it's the same model. We wrapped that up, sent it over to you, and to start painting on it. But
Yes.
then you thought, if we're going through this journey painting it, let's document this journey.
Yes, exactly. Now our idea was, and it's kind of funny because Jeremy kind of offered us just a sample, and we said, well, which one do you want? We said, well, if we can choose, we'll take the Vulture Demon because that is, it is kind of still my favorite. I just love the pose and everything, and also if you look at the details, the textures here, for example.
Oh, even the wings got better. Like,
yeah, you got the new wings now with the pattern. You got all the tannins and things going on here. I really love that. And not only that I love it, Ben saw that, and his first words out of his mouth were, "I have to paint that."
well, that's a good reaction.
That is a very good. And honestly, I know him now for a very long time. He doesn't often say that. He saw that and says, I want to paint that. And so we have decided to, because we, like when we're doing DVDs and stuff, it's a lot of work that people don't see, like how we work. And we want to use this now to, first of all, I want to give my guys a chance to have fun again and not just edit videos or listen to birds chirping in the sounds and these kind of things that they need to cut out. So we will make this, I call this the 42 days of fun. So basically, all of my guys can do whatever they want to do to this for 42 days. It has to result in a documentation of some sort, and we will not only document the painting of this, but we will also document how we do the recording, how we do the cleaning up of sound, and we will actually show people what tools we use, how to use them.
Wow, that's huge.
So I'm all big about transparency, and people might say, well, you're giving away secrets, but no, we're not. We're just showing you what we do to put in our products. And honestly, I didn't expect it would be this much, and people out there will not understand or would not expect how much work it actually is to make a DVD. It's not just filming something and putting that on the DVD. That's the easy part. But what this turned into is a project that Ben will do for the World Expo in Stresa 2014. So that is the most important show in the world. It is, I think it's only every 3 years, isn't it?
It's huge.
Yeah, it is a huge show. We will be there, and we will make a complete scene based around this. We'll actually have the community decide on some of the aspects of this. We will film everything we do, whether we do the conversions, base building, the paint jobs, and these kind of things. And that's kind of where we were in our discussion. I said, hey, let's do this, and let's show these videos. And then I said, why don't we make this a DVD?
Oh man, can you imagine? You get a whole DVD of your process making the DVD, making the miniature, and all the skills that I learned from you guys painting this, I can apply to any big scale miniature.
And you know what, that is exactly the point. There is no big scale miniature DVD out there. Painting a big scale miniature is very challenging. It requires just a different approach from a small miniature. And Ben has done a lot of big ones, actually even sword-winning dioramas. His Matsumundi is probably very famous for that.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he will make this. We will film everything. And we decided to make this a DVD, and it will be a 50-50% collaboration DVD between the two of us.
It's going to be awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that DVD concept and we're going to offer it on our campaign as an optional extra. So you can actually go to the campaign, bid on a model, and then you can add the DVD to it as well. Now, you can add the DVD to it if you pledge on a Vulture Demon. But of course, the skills in the DVD are applicable to any.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just one example. I mean, if we did all of the models, and it wouldn't be possible to show everything. Also, on the DVD, we can show everything begin to finish, but we can show very important parts. For example, how to do the face, the eyes, the tendons, the wings, all these kind of things to a level where you can actually win competitions. So it's really something for the aspiring painter. It will have very helpful tips for the army painter, because the beginning phases are all the same, and then the question is just how far will you take this? And you'll also see some inspiration on modeling, on how to actually approach a project like this and these kind of things, basing and so on. And I think it's going to be an awesome project. My guys are really looking forward to this. It's basically my present to them, because in the end of the day I have to pay them for the time, and 42 days are not free. But we have worked really, really hard over the last 4 or 5 months on our season 1.2 and 1.3 DVD, and now it's just time to have fun.
Well, I'm excited too, man. Like, it's such a dream come true to have a painting studio, spend that much time, especially one that I love, to spend that much time with the model that I've made. It's absolutely huge, man. It's going to be awesome. Plus, you can buy a model on our campaign. You can buy the DVD. And that's going to make, it's almost like insurance, that you're going to then take a model that you love the sculpt of, and that you can then apply your paint job in a more careful way than you've ever done before. So it's almost like ensuring you're going to give it the kind of paint job that, you know, that you really want to give it.
Yeah, and just to make sure that the people understand, we're not just going to do everything in secret like we do with all of us DVDs, because we can't publish all the content and then show it out there. No, we will create a DVD that is really helpful for everyone to paint large-scale miniatures, but we will document the whole making of in the time that your campaign actually runs, and we can talk about this maybe in closing. So people can actually see what we can do with these kind of models, kind of get a taste for it, want it too, which I'm pretty sure people will, and I think it's going to be fun. It's just going to be an awesome, awesome little thing that we have going on.
What a cool collaboration, man. I hope we can do lots of these things in the future, and I, like anybody else who is pledging on the DVD, cannot wait to see the DVD.
See, there you go, yeah.
So cool.
Now, having said that, your campaign, again, maybe in kind of closing that, is the 19th of April at midnight Pacific Standard Time, is that correct?
That's 12 o'clock noon, so not 12 o'clock midnight.
Sorry, 12
o'clock afternoon. And that's Eastern Standard Time. So if you look on your time converter, just go New York time, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and go from there.
Yeah, and you've in this announcement video you also have a little table with all of the times and so on. It is good to it is good to be early. It's the Easter weekend, so people. If you have found all the hidden Easter eggs in the garden, you can just jump on your computer right away, check out the early bird special. I'm a little disappointed that they're not early beard special, but that's okay. And pledge on those. You can save a lot of money on those. And then, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
Me, man.
So, what else? That is an exciting announcement. I'm so excited right now, actually. I can't wait to start.
Yeah, dude, this is gonna be really cool, man. And like, I love just seeing people like I love seeing my models pop up on Cool Mini. That's the #1 thing, man. I love it. You know, it's kind of like tattooing in the sense that you see somebody walk around with your artwork. To me, having a painting studio paint this model, take that much attention, it's really like it's in some ways it's even better than a tattoo.
See, actually, one of the things kind of reminds me right now. I got one comment from Luke Wilson, and it's interesting because we talked last time as strangers. Basically, we didn't know each other than maybe talking before the show for 10 minutes. Now we're almost friends. We have met in real life, and we're already doing a collaboration together, which is just kind of fun for both of us. Basically, it's not going to result in any benefit or plus for us. It's just going to be, at best, it's going to be covering the cost, but it's going to be a lot of fun for us. And a friend of mine, Luke Wilson, who I met at the Euromilitaire last year, just wrote, he said, great cast, guys. Really enjoy seeing and hearing about the new models coming from Creaturecaster. And now I'm really looking forward to getting the next DVD sets. I think he already ordered. And I will actually be meeting him next week for Salute in London. He invited me over, and he will actually cook for me. So he and his wife will host me for one night, and I'm looking forward to this like I'm looking forward for Christmas, actually more. And,
man!
Then
It
on
makes me wish
Saturday,
I was in Europe. I'm
it's
locked. I'm in Canada. I can't hang out with anybody.
all the cool events are in Europe, I have to say. Most of the cool events are in Europe, not all of them. But of course, we got Adepticon, we got PAX and these kind of things going on in the US.
I was
Gen Con and so
listening
on.
to the Joey Berry podcast, and people kept asking her on her live chat, "What events are you going to go to?" And then they listed off like 10 events.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, man, I got like one comic convention in Seattle, and then I've got one anime convention, and then one fan expo in Vancouver, and that's all I get.
I would say there's probably 10 major miniature events in Europe every year.
Man.
Major
And
events,
that's
like
with
really
just
big, like thousands of miniatures. So,
oh man,
yeah.
awesome.
Oh man,
I love it. I'm moving.
So, any closing words?
Well, again, thank you very much for having me on. This is my favorite podcast to do. Thank you very much for watching. Our analytics are blowing up. Our fans are intermingling. Everything's happening. Life is beautiful.
Life is beautiful, isn't it?
All right. Each other. Things are good.
Yeah. Good. And if you have any other questions, chances are the answer is 42. So thanks for watching. I'm sure that we will have you back at least sometime after the Kickstarter started, maybe when we have the first videos up of our little collaboration. Give a status update on that. And don't miss the Chilling Wargamers on the 17th, and check out Creaturecaster for any additional information. Jeremy, thank you very much. It's been fun as always.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Always good to be here.
Talk to you soon. I'm
All right, see you,
going to close the chat now. Bye, guys.
Cool.
Thanks for watching.
See you guys.